Hi, this is Leanne from Echidna. I just wanted to show you how I created the cute little dress that was in the introduction here. So it's from a pattern from Craftsy.com. I downloaded it, I then printed it out and cut out the pattern ready for me to create the embroidery. So the pattern is size 2 to 10. I actually cut out a size 3 and what I did then was I placed all my patterns onto my fabric and traced it out ready to place my embroidery templates on to stitch it out. So to edit this design, I'm going to use the Embrilliance software, and I've chosen a John Deere design, EMBE14 from his collection. So I'm going to select that design and I'm going to open that and bring that onto the screen here. First of all, I'm going to rotate the design, so I can rotate it either here in my figures, or I can actually rotate it by holding down my left mouse onto the blue dot in the corner, and I can then rotate that around. So I basically want that to be horizontal across my screen. And then the next thing we're going to do is to actually, I want to separate the flowers from the stem here. So I'm going to use the enthusiast part of Embrilliance, and that is the editing part. So I'm going to click on the editing tool, and I'm actually going to zoom in on the area that I'm going to edit out. I'm then going to select the freehand drawing tool, and I'm going to then go around and select the flowers and very carefully go around the flowers here and whoop, edit that out. Try not to get any leaves or anything like that, and go around the design. Whoops. If you do get it, then you'll just have to start again. Let's see how we go with that. Did I get it? Yes, it's all in there. Then I can separate that from the design. So I'm going to split that from the design, and you'll see here now that that is now separated from the design over here. So now we're going to go back to the design, and I'm going to click on my flowers, zoom out a little bit so that I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to move those just out of the way. Now for this design, I want to make this part of the design actually big enough so that it can fit in the 100 by 100 hoop, so that all of our embroidery customers can actually use this design in any of their embroidery machines. So we're going to click on the design, and you'll see down the bottom here that it's 119 millimeters. So I'm going to resize this down so that it's 95.5. So I can actually just go up the top here and I can change this here to 95.5 and push the enter key. And that will now change that to the size so that it's under 100 millimeters. Now I want to also use my flowers again, but now the flowers are a little bit large for the design. So I can actually go back again, and I could edit these out and make sure that each one of these flowers is actually separated from one another. So I'm going to now just separate each flower so that we can then resize them. So I could recut them, or I could actually just delete and just work on one at a time if I wanted to. That makes it a little bit easier to do. So I want to resize the flower, and I'm going to resize the flower down to about 13 millimeters. And that just makes a little bit more sense when you'll see now that it's a little bit more proportional, and I can place those into the design. The reason I didn't resize it all together is because I want to move the flowers around in different positions for this design. I'm now going to click on the flower, and I'm going to copy and paste that and place that over on the other side here. I'm now going to also again paste that design, and I'm going to put another one up the top there. So now this design here is ready to save and print out onto my Echi-Trace, and ready to template and place onto my pattern piece for my dress, ready to go. So now we've made the bottom of the dress, I want to make the design for the sleeve. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to select all. So I'm going to select all of the design here, and I'm going to just move this across here, and I'm going to actually flip it upside down. So it actually is going this way, and I'm actually going to flip it that way as well. So now we're going to create a design by now copying it and pasting it, and then flipping that one to the other side and moving that across to here. So this is now the basis for our sleeve. Now if you only have a 100 by 100 hoop, then you will still have to do this in 2 sections. If you have a larger hoop design, then you will be able to do this in one design. Now I wanted to actually marry this design a little bit better together, so I'm going to actually click on one of the flowers over here in the objects window, and I'm actually going to copy that and paste that, and I'm going to move this into the middle here. So it basically now joins that design together so that it looks like one piece. So if you have a smaller hoop design, you will then have to hoop all of this up separately so that you have the complete design. Now you can also print this up onto your Editied and use this as a template for your sleeve pattern. Print each of the templates out on Editied and using an eyelet cutter, pierce a hole at the vertical and horizontal lines for you to put your marking pen into, and draw a placement line for the first design. You'll repeat this after each embroidery. Don't do all of them at once. After printing out the templates, I place them on the dress and material on the appropriate pattern pieces, and I tape them together so it's not one template but 4 placements for the one side of the dress. After this, I stitched out the first design. I placed the template back over the top of it and lined it up, then marked the next placement hoop and embroidered it. Continue on until you have the 4 on the right hand side done, then flip over the template and repeat on the other side. Remember though, you have to rotate or mirror the design so it's balanced on each side. So here are all the pieces to my dress design, and you'll see that I have gone along and I've stitched along the pattern pieces and I've then cut them out. You'll notice on the back piece here that it actually has 3 pieces, and because the size of the design wouldn't fit across in a 4, I couldn't fit 4 onto there, I actually used 3, and I then just copied one of the flowers here and I placed it in between. So it actually still looks like it's a complete design, but this is a bit of a trick, because if you can't fit in the exact amount of designs onto your piece of your garment, you could actually improvise and make it look like it actually fits into the design. So even though I followed the instructions of the pattern, I did add some finishing touches. I added a small pom-pom piping, and I used my piping foot to attach this to my bodice. As the pom-pom is a little bit thicker than the piping foot, I did help it through with my seam ripper, and I used a 3mm stitch length. You can also use this again to guide the piping through when you are attaching the bodice to the skirt. And voila, it's in the perfect stitching position, so it's perfect piping every time. For putting the piping on the sleeve, I used the zipper foot as I could get really close to the edge of the sleeve, and I attached it so it looked as if it was a top stitch. So here's the finished dress. I think the dress would look really cute with a coloured pair of leggings. I've also added a piece of John Deere lace that I've edited out of one of his designs, and added a little Nikki Turbo button just to finish it off. I hope you now have a few more ideas, and this helps you also with the placement of a design on a pattern. Happy sewing, everyone!